Hey guys, Azzapp here, and welcome to my dodging manifesto. Here I'm gonna try to tell you and persuade you that dodging is actually really inherently bad for the game, and how champion select anonymity is pretty good. So first, and the most obvious benefit of this would be way faster queuing. You don't have to wait, there are no failed games, and you get much faster into the games. So you know I've been against dodging for ages, and I've been talking about how it needs to get removed from the game, or at least heavily punished. So last night I responded to a minor thread from Malice, where it got into this back and forth, but I tried to explain my position, but I didn't feel like it got across. It felt like a very unproductive environment, so I'm trying to lay down all the reasoning here so you guys can assess it properly. I believe as long as you're willing to understand, I will be able to persuade you that dodging is really bad for the game. And not only that, but the core argument about dodging is that we're gonna have, okay, no dodging, we have more quantity of games, but the quality will go down. I will try to explain to you that I believe, and why I believe, that the quality will also eventually go up. I do believe there will be a small dip if you were to remove dodging entirely right now. There would be a small dip in game quality, but eventually it would trend towards better, and the new peak would be higher than the previous peak in game quality. I think the same exact curve would occur with the addition of voice chat, although with a slightly smaller dip probably. While people adjust to the communication and they adapt to it, they will learn. There's going to be a lot of cross-learning between roles, and people are going to be much more reliable and consistent in playing their gameplay, and less prone to tilt because they actually understand how other roles play. Most of toxicity comes from ignorance, where people do not understand what certain role can do, i.e. mid laner not roaming for crab because the matchup doesn't permit so, and the jungler getting mad at that, that could be easily communicated beforehand, or vice versa, jungler not telling mid laner that he cannot come to some certain gank because it would be absolutely sinning and it would be behind the full level if that fails. So there will be a lot of cross learning on both sides, on every single side, and eventually it would be better. Same exact thing would happen with dodging. So by dodging, all you're doing is fixing your short term. You just pass the problem along down the river while you're trying to rig the matchmaking into your favor. So now let's imagine everyone is rigging the games. Everyone is dodging and trying to set up the perfect game for them. Okay, what happens? First of all, it becomes a competition of who is better at dodging, which is really bad because that's not the point of the game. Secondly, you come to a point where everyone will dodge bad scenarios. Everyone will dodge scenarios which are not beneficial to them. So unfavorable matchups, unfavorable situations, everyone dodges until there are no more dodges left, and then one team is caught in an unfavorable position, which they were trying to avoid the entire time. So now they're tilted because they couldn't dodge a game that they believed to be lost, and then the game quality is terrible. So I would argue that the game quality even goes down. So now conversely, let's imagine that nobody dodged. Dodging was not a mechanic. Everything was just pure randomness. You go in, you're gonna have some good players, you're gonna have some bad players, you're gonna have some really bad players, which we call trolls. You just play through. Now, I know everyone's like, okay, I don't want to play with a troll, but hear me out. It makes sense. If you allow the pure randomness to occur, provided you're not a troll or a bad player, that leaves 9 other pieces, 9 other variables. So that would mean that you have 44% chance to get a troll or a bad player, while enemies have a 56% chance for a troll or bad player. So across hundreds of games, or even 1,000 games, which are more likely when you're trying to do a competitive League of Legends, this is meaningless. Absolutely meaningless. True skill will shine forth. Your skill will go through all of the randomness, because a normal distribution emerges, a pattern emerges. Good players go to the top, bad players go to the bottom. By adding matchmaking rigging and people dodging unfavorable scenarios, you add way more fluctuations to the matchmaking, which hinders its own purpose, which is to create a normal distribution of skill. So in order for your true skill to emerge, you need to play as many games as possible upwards to infinity. We definitely don't need to play infinity games. We can easily do that with 1,000, with 200, with 500. I've got some challengers at 200, some at 300, some at 500, and that's with a low impact character like vel'koz. If you're playing something higher impact, you're going to climb faster because you exert your impact more over the game and you have higher influence of it. Another good reason why you should not dodge is because you don't want to negotiate with terrorists. I originally felt really bad how people would try to play this game where they're trying to force you to dodge by pretending they're going to pick something bad because they don't like the draft or something. So now they're trying to panic you into a dodge. Who cares more about this? It's a game of chicken. And I hated that. I really hated it. So I figured I want to be immovable. I want to build a reputation of me just never dodging. I will never dodge. You can't tell me anything. I will play my game however I see fit. It's totally fine. You do you. Okay, I'm just one piece. You're 9 other random pieces. Nothing can move me. And that's how I went on. That's how I acted, and it didn't hinder me in getting challengers. In fact, I got 3 in the last season, so, well, that's that. So the point is, by doing that, you're enabling these trolls. You're enabling their behavior. So if one player is a dodger, he's a chronic dodger, dodger. And this is true because small percentage of player base accounts for most of the dodges, majority of dodging. There's a small minority of chronic dodgers which abuse this. And what do when they run out of dodges? They try to force other people to dodge. They don't like the draft, they don't like the player or something, and they're gonna try to pick a troll champ trying to bait you into dodging. So if you're removable, they will get eventually punished. One another good point about not dodging is Riot is not incentivized to punish trolls. Riot has an easy way out in any sort of discussion about griefers and trolls, and it's not top of their priority. Do you know why? Because you have a tool to avoid trolls at your disposal. So technically it's your fault for playing with a troll, because you could have easily avoided it, because now dodging is apparently a mechanic even though it shouldn't have been. So as long as you're not forced to play these games with trolls, the trolls will not be held accountable, nor will they troll 3 games in a row and they get permabanned. But if they troll once in a blue moon, they can just bully you, they will never get punished. People are thinking about this in way too of short term. The biggest arguments are, oh, but my counter argument is I have a Twitch support. Oh, my counter argument, I have a Zed jungle. Oh, my counter argument is I have a mage bot lane. Like, it's all of those. That is the only rebuttal I've heard to this whole scheme. There are no good arguments why dodging should be allowed. Your solo queue performance and rank is a marathon. It's not a sprint. One game doesn't change anything. Averages will equal out across a lot of games. Your average gameplay is what truly matters. If you truly care about solo queue and competitive integrity, you should be against dodging. And there's no other way about it. People will never take drafts seriously as long as they can avoid the unfavorable ones. Why would they? Like, they don't need to play that. The lobbies would get way more positive over time, and there's that trend upwards that I talked about, because you would need about half a year for people to adjust to this and the general mentality of the game to be turned into a positive one where people are, okay, I have a Teemo support. Let's make the best of it. Let's try to win this. I have a Sin jungle. Let's win it, dude. Let's see if I can win with Sin jungle. That's the mentality that will be adapted across time, as long as people are not able to avoid it. There's another point about true skill, which we got over with the Malice tweet thread, which you didn't take me seriously, but I do truly believe that true skill constitutes your ability to convert any given random scenario into a win. Now, some scenarios will be Kobayashi Maru and they will be unwinnable, and that's just the nature of the game. But because you cannot know which one is unwinnable from the start, means you have to play every single one like it's winnable. You are put in a random scenario with 9 random variables. They could be NPCs for all you care. It doesn't matter. Your job is to win this. So everything goes into your performance, just like in any team sport or esport. You can be good, but if you're difficult to play with, your win percent will go down and your quality as a player as well. If you let the matchmaking go through and do its thing across a lot of games, your true skill will shine. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the solution how to stop dodging. Now you're thinking about how do we prevent dodging. We've already tried to lock them after 2 dodges, 3 dodges. We punish them not being able to play for 1 hour. Now here's the solution. Here's how you solve it. Every season, Riot should permit 10 free dodges, or any like, it's not an arbitrary number, but it's derived from probably data mining. There's like a very good discerning point between the chronic dodgers and casual dodgers. So you need to find what it is on the account averages, let's say. So if most people in the game dodge 5 times across the entire season, there's gonna be like a small minority that dodge like 100 times across season. So what you have to do is permit 8-10 dodges free per season. Those are to account for PC crashes, bad connection, power outages, whatever you have it. Every subsequent dodge should cost 15 LP and the MMR equivalent, so you can't save your MMR while just losing LP, which is pretty much meaningless in that case, because your gains will be up because you dodge. Dodges are not getting punished at all. They should cost MMR equivalent. And that's it. The psychological effect of having 10 free dodges is it worth to dodge this? Okay, I have Nunu trolling me, Ashe trolling me on top lane, I have Singed bot lane. This game might be a dodge, and maybe a dodge, like fair enough, you have a dodge, but now you lost 1. Okay, so now you have 9 more. And once you get to like 4, 5, 6, you really don't want to dodge in a casual way, because you want to leave those final ones to account for your PC outages and all the unnecessary like bullshit that can strike you, right? So you're gonna come to 7 point, 8, 6, 5, and you're gonna be like, oh, I can't dodge anymore. I just can't dodge, so I have to play it, let's make best of it. So I think that's a very, very simple solution that it's so easy to implement. Now you can say, oh, but how am I gonna climb with a troll, with all that? I have gotten 3 challengers on 3 different servers with a low impact shit character like vel'koz. So you tell me why you can't climb. Just look at the math. Theory of large numbers. Every statistician will tell you this. 44% chance to get a troll on your team, 56 on the enemy team. If you're good, and we assume you're not a troll, you will climb no matter what across time. Granted, dodging is a bit of a bigger issue in higher elo, like really high elo, because that's where marginal advantages mean way more. So I'm at a serious disadvantage at super high elo because people really care about that. But that's precisely why it needs to get nerfed, so the best player should be rank 1 player. Rank 1 player should be the guy who truly deserves it. Another good point about this is most dodges are wrong. Most dodges I see are genuinely wrong. A gold player watching a challenger streamer, watching Tarzan, watching LS talk about comps and dodges and 49% win rate jungler, talking about that, and that gold player thinks he has the ability to discern what is a lost game based on OPGG results, and then he dodges. Most dodges are wrong. People just lack the game knowledge about it. The hard to swallow reality about pretty much any competitive game is that most people want to win. I regard and I believe that people thinking that others are out to troll them on purpose are a bigger threat to game quality than actual trolls. Trolls are a tiny minority who don't care about the game. But if somebody goes 0-1 in your team and then you get toxic and you talk to him the entire time, oh, you're 0-1, how dare you, you're inting me, you're trolling me, you're so bad. You're probably just as bad, you're probably worse, because you're creating a hostile environment where he's not gonna play any better, he's gonna fight back to you, you guys are all gonna go soft int and nobody's gonna care about the game. You cannot control anyone else. It's called solo queue, it's just you. Anyway, that is it for my dodging manifesto. There's a Twitter thread in the link below. If you have any more questions, I'll be happy to explain my reasoning and talk to anybody about this. You can talk to me on my Twitch TV Azzapp. I'll be there live. And yeah, anonymity is a step in right direction because it lowers the amount of dodging. It really helps out the game because you eliminate a lot of dodging reasons and data mining. So I hope in the future dodging will be punished more, and I hopefully Riot will implement my solution. And that's about it. Enjoy the game. Good luck, guys. See ya.